Good morning, everyone. This is Miss T. I hope everyone slept well and had a good night, woke up peaceful. Some of us did not wake up this morning. I hope you're going to spend a little time with the Lord and have a great day. Today, there's a lot of things to talk about. A lot of things happened yesterday. And one of the biggest ones was the death of Charles Kirk. And believe it or not, I didn't know who Charles Kirk was. I've never heard that name. I've never seen his face. I do know he was some type of confidant for President Trump. But I purposely didn't go and look up anything about him because for some reason, I just didn't want to have a picture, or I just wanted to talk about the whole thing, not the person, but the whole situation of what's going on. I'm sure people have a lot of different things that they would want to say or have to say about him, but I didn't go and check and read anything about him. Why I wanted to bring that part up is because it doesn't matter who the person, it matters because you're a person, and people, every life is worth living, and no one has the right to take anybody's life at all in any situation. But it's all written, it's all been told. Christians of any kind are going to be persecuted, especially if you're outspoken. There was a pastor yesterday, I guess. He wasn't yesterday, I just seen the news thing yesterday, that had been preaching for many years about crooked pastors and people sending their money to them and them taking advantage of people, only to find out he was one of them, and he was arrested. There was a school shooting in Evergreen High. I think that was in Colorado. That didn't get a lot of publicity because of everything that was going on. They're still debating about Memphis sending in help to keep the crime down. They're still talking about the wars that are still going on. We're just not hearing about them much. And now they're bringing up the fact that there are children starving in Gaza. And it just rolls down like it was written, like it just came out of the Bible. Because everything that's happening, we were told that it was going to happen, whether the timeline is the same or not. It was already told to us what would be happening before Jesus came. And so it's just a glimpse of things that are going to continue to go on, new things that are going to start happening. And what people need to do is trust in God. Believe in God. Know that He's real. Know that He's the only one that you can trust in. He's the only one that can protect you. He's the only one who cares about you, or is willing to save you. People don't, at this moment, people think it's, if they don't agree with what you say or what you do, they feel like they have to take your life. Just because you don't agree with someone, this person is not telling you you have to agree with them or they were going to make your life miserable. This person doesn't even, they're just voicing what their views or what they believe. And so when is it a crime that you aren't allowed to give how you feel? When is it a crime to speak about how good God's been to you, or to give a testimony, or to speak real about a situation? So is this what we call being politically correct? Means that in order for you to stay neutral, you have to lie a little bit. You don't tell everything. You don't say everything because it will hurt someone or make someone upset or make them mad, and they can potentially do something to you, which they shouldn't be able to. But because of the world and the way that it's going to end and all the evil and the crime, that's what it's come down to. We don't want you saying anything that we don't agree with. We don't want you helping anyone or being on anyone's side that we don't agree with, and in order to get you to stop talking, we're just gonna take you out. Now, I don't know why I've never heard his name, since so many people know him. Well, I probably do. I don't watch the news. I don't get into politics. I don't listen to speeches. I don't read the paper or do any of that. So that could be possibly why I've never heard of this man's name. But no matter what his stance was, no matter what his beliefs were, no one had the right to take his life, period. I've heard that they do not have the person in custody because they were able to get away. I'm not going to talk about theories. I don't live my life off of theories. I'm not going to talk about conspiracies. I don't work with conspiracies. I live off my life through truth. And what God tells me, He's laid it all out from beginning to end. He's Alpha and Omega. He says what's going to happen, and that's what is happening. You can't deny. People just, you can say it's a coincidence. How many times can you say things are a coincidence? How many times can you just deny something that's right in your face? If you still want, people are going to want to do or believe whatever they want to believe, but I go by what I'm told, what has been given to me, and I can tell you everything that I have heard, or anything that's happened in my life this far, or anything I've seen has been spot on. I've never doubted. Now, the one thing that did bother me yesterday was where God tells you that He will keep you strong. I was wondering, like, I'm vocal about Him, but how far can how far will I go? Because he doesn't guarantee you that it's not going to be easy. Sometimes it's not going to be good at all. Some people, Christians' lives have been taken for standing up for his word. So what I've had to come to realize is that I need to pray for more faith, more strength, more guidance, more understanding, because it's not that, I mean, they're not just picking random people to go around, doing things to, and I don't even know if that was the reason why all the stuff was happening. I don't know. When you mix politics and religion, it gets very it's not a good mix. I mean, it can become not a good mix because of the world and the state of the world. The other thing, I don't know the situation on the school shooting. I don't know. I haven't heard much on that because of the other situation. But one thing that I do know I wanted to share is that no one knows who's going to be in heaven. They think they know. They might look at someone and say, oh, I know he's not going to be in heaven because of the way that you think that they are. God says nobody knows who's going to be in heaven. He also says some people are going to be surprised who's going to be there, and surprised who's not there. I wanted to focus on one person that I wanted to talk about. Now, when this young man came out, when his career started, people didn't have anything good to say about him, but the simple fact that he had talent as far as his rapping career. And so he grew that way because he had talent that way. But yes, he went in and out of jail. They were accusing him of different things that had happened in the streets, and he did rap about things, that were happening in the street. If you grew up in the street, that's what you know. So, that's what he rapped about. Then as he got a little bit bigger, he started rapping about, and I just seen something in him from the beginning. I listened to some of his music, not all of it, but what I heard was someone who was hurt inside, didn't know how to open it or know how to get rid of the pain or whatever he had. He was young, so if he had all that pain, he had it since birth, childhood. So I seen him evolve as he got, bigger and made more money. He started to change. His music went to like poetry. He started talking about how he hurt it and how he doesn't want to hurt and how he doesn't he just started changing. His music started to be a little bit lighter, and then he was still doing things, and nobody's perfect, and we're all sinners, since we have to be reminded of that, everybody, including me, because like I said, I'm not on here chastising, judging, talking about anyone specifically. This is as in a whole. I'm telling us what the Lord says, what he says you have to do to get in heaven, and he's talking about everyone. So as he became bigger, I seen, this change in him. People still said this and that, and he was whatever, but they didn't know. I started following, kind of doing some research on him, because I wanted to, because people used to be like, what, you like, that's kind of weird for you to like him. And I said, but it's not the music. I mean, his music, I guess, is good. It's him, the way he was able to feel like he's a man, but still show men that you can express your feelings, or you don't have to go be a certain way to follow everyone else. So people don't know him really from the inside. They just know and they don't know that this man goes out randomly and just puts stacks of money in people's hands, or he doesn't know that if he sees an old lady, she might not be homeless, or she's homeless, standing in the rail, he'll take his coat off and give it to her. And I'm pretty sure, just the fact that he takes his coat off and gives it to her is enough, but I'm pretty sure the coat is worth a lot of money. But just that he walks, there's never anywhere he goes that he doesn't help someone. And I think it's because he remembered him. He's seeing him. There was a young man that wanted his autograph and was telling him that he's always followed him, and he wanted to get in the music business, and he writes or whatever, and he instantly gave him a job and let him come on his tour, just like that. And then all the other stuff that, besides the other stuff he does, of course, school, he just helps people. And he doesn't have to have, you don't even have to have a sob story. You don't even have to, and I'm sure he knows there's people around him who are around him for his money, but he likes taking care. He likes to take care of people. He likes to give. He likes to share. He likes to help someone help themselves. He likes to, and that's the type of people that God are looking for. We don't know what's going on in his life. I don't know. People are going to say maybe that he's not. He doesn't look like he serves the Lord. But what does look like mean? And it's really none of our business who God chooses, because he can use anyone. He can work with anyone. And so that's why I looked into him, because he was the most controversial. Like, people think he was not a good person, and I just didn't see. I seen a person who was not treated well, but had he had it in him to do better than what was done to him, to be better than what he came from. To not let, people, you're a young person and you get all this money and people are screaming your name, and just, you can take your money, run off somewhere, spend it, have the big, he likes to be where the people are and see where he can help. And I just think that when you already have that in you, no matter what things you do in life, you still keep that, and then God can work with you a little bit at a time. Maybe he had to stay a certain way to make it, and now he's able to freely help his people, help who he thinks needs help, or to share things. And like I said, we don't know who God uses. So that was a little thing about NBA Youngboy, and why I don't, out of all rappers, I don't really listen to rap music, but I do kind of follow him and what he's doing in his life from time to time, because I think he's a different kind of rapper. I think he's a humanitarian, and I believe when God touches the inner side, the other side, he's already a kind person, but when he touches his other side, his side of when he finds out that life is more than just what, I believe he can change lives as far as people serving God and just believing that there's good people still in the world. The rest of you can have the rest of the people who do, make it big so they can do whatever evil that they want to do. They'll be dealing with their consequences too. But that is true that no one knows who will be in heaven and who won't. No one knows when Jesus is coming back. Only that he has given us signs that it is near. And if you are pretending like you don't see them or ignoring them, is it because you'll have to ask yourself why? Why would you ignore it, and why would you not try to, get yourself ready for him to come? It's not like, I mean, you've heard he's given you all the information, everything that you need to know to be saved. And he has told you, it has been written, has been told several times what will happen to the people who aren't saved. And so I don't know if people just put that out of their mind, or if they truly believe that it's not true, that there is no God, that this earth is just going to one day fall apart and pieces are just going to drop, and I don't know. I don't know if they're hoping that when they pass away, they just stay in the dark, if their life is over, and that's it. They won't know, or some people believe they'll come back as whatever. So if you come back, do you continue to come back? Do you come back? Do you get a chance to come back to try to be different or be better? Or do you get to keep coming back until you get it correct? I don't know about that. But I know that people are intelligent. They know they can read, they can understand, and if you read something that tells you something and it comes true, or do you just, like I said, is it just a coincidence, or two things happen? That doesn't mean anything. Of course, the weather is going to, because with the climate, we put stuff in the air, and the climate, of course, the weather is going to be, out of sync. And of course, we have wars. We've always had wars. That's nothing. So you can't go by that. God says, the Bible says, war against Israel. And oh my goodness, the world that's war that's going on, and I always remember Israel, because God promised his people that they'll be back in the land of Israel. And then I don't like to to forget stuff, but you will have to look it up, like I said, because you'll need to look it up yourself. But he we've heard of, yes, wars, we've had wars and continuously have wars, but you have to read the Bible to understand which wars that was talked about right before time is up, right before Jesus returns. Of course, there has been famine. We've been seeing commercials for years that people send money over to feed people over in different countries. But globally, really, we hadn't had to deal with food being contaminated and taken off the shelves and removed and not edible. We haven't really had to deal with everything all together. We've had diseases that we've never, had before, that just, we have had, smallpox and all those different, and people passed away during those times also. But you have to take the whole reading and understanding of the word to get it all, to put it all in. The timeline, the time frame, the way the world is going to become savvy, and we have all this technology that helps us have evil and good at the same time. We have greed, lawlessness, and that's that people go out and take the law into their own hands and unalive people that they believe shouldn't be here. There was a story about little boys playing ding dong ditch and rang a man's door, and he chased them down with a gun and harmed one. Now, I'm not going to say he unalived them, because I didn't get the whole story. I sometimes start to read a story and I'm like, I just stop, because it's you put too much. When you put too much of that stuff in your head, it sits there, it festers, and you can't. Then you have a bad day because you're thinking about all horrible stuff. You need to take that out and put new stuff and good stuff and keep that there. We're all going to see horrible things. We're all going to hear horrible things. Some of us are going to go through horrible things. We don't need to continuously inhale it and take it in by reading it all day, watching it all day, listening to it all day. What kind of person does that turn you into? When all this is all that you notice or read or listen to. And it's not money-wise, it's not ideal to tell happy stories on the news. They will probably give you a good story, once in a while about, someone who might have saved someone's life or something like that. But those type of things don't get you a Pulitzer Prize. Those type of things don't get you to a higher level. People want to see the dark side. They want to see now, and the reason why I said it, because yesterday when they were showing this man being shot, back in the day they would have put a little squiggly thing over. Well, they still do that in some places, but a lot of times they're going to give you the raw footage. You're going to see everything. So they continued to play that all day, and that same, right there. And sometimes they just focus when he said his last word and then the gun. And people see this, just watch it every day. And that's not good to put out. First of all, if you read young impressionable minds of children who started out being different or have confusion, they say that watching these kind of things, watching these kind of movies, or listening to these, or reading on these people, gives them strength to push them over to the other side to do things like that. They see that picture and they want to see what it looks like up close. They say it all the time. I just wanted to know what it looked like. I just wanted to know what it felt like. And we're giving them what they want because it's fascinating. It looks fascinating to them. And then we just show it over and over and over again like it's normal. We're making society believe that evilness and murder and all the things that come with it and all the evil things are normal. They're not normal. People shouldn't be excited to go out and harm someone. People shouldn't get it, it shouldn't give them pleasure to stalk women and do things to their body parts and then take pieces of them home with them, and that's not normal. We're making things seem, since it happens, that's the new normal. It's not normal. It's evil. It's vile. It's of Satan. It is not normal. I always wanted to work with the FBI. I'm like, I just want to solve a case. I just want to, and so I go to this chat where we solve. It's really a fun chat because we get in there. The cases are already been solved, but we watch them from the beginning, and then we decide if the person is guilty or what as we go along. And the one that we had previously watched, I couldn't even think, because this man said that his lady friend, and I'm going to speed it up, said that she got a diagnosis of cancer, ovarian cancer, and they told her she wasn't going to live past 6 months. So she wanted him to take her out. She didn't want to, suffer and all that. So she wanted him to help her leave the world now. So his whole story was they just drank and drank and drank until they were drunk. Then he says that she was coming on here. I don't know. He had so many stories. But then he doesn't remember how he unalived her, but he remembers cutting her up, putting her head and hands and feet in a bucket, and then taking her torso and cutting it down the side, taking slabs of meat out cooking it and eating it. And he's talking just like I'm talking to you. And he said it kind of tastes like steak, and but you know, I don't remember, but she was asking me to do this, and that's what I did. Sir, if your friend asked you to help them unalive themselves because they don't want to go through the chemo or the pain or whatever, I'm pretty sure that they would have said, you know, get me so drunk that, you know, give her pills or something so that she just doesn't wake up. I don't really believe that she requested that you do all these things and then eat a piece of her. I don't know. But why did this man act like this was normal? That this was okay? He wanted to say that he was helping her out because this is what she asked him to do. She didn't ask you to do that. I think maybe if she asked you to help her, I'm pretty sure that wasn't what was in her mind. And for you to be able to do that means you've done it before, or I'm not going to say, or you've done it before. People don't just decide in their 30s or 40s that they're going to just start going around and unaliving people in weird ways. Unless I don't know. But we're not safe from anything. We're not safe from people's minds, what goes on in their minds. And just so happened they wanted to try today to see what they could get away with, and you crossed their paths. Just so happened to cross their path. They were trying to find the young black woman who was missing for a week, and they found her car, and then they were able to see who she got in the car with, and then who that person was, and then found her body, and then found the evidence in his home where he shared with several people that were home at the time of her unaliving. People are trying to figure out, you know, all their theories of why this happened. Not mourning for the parents or for the fact that this young lady was beaten to death when there was actually people in the next room that heard her and could have intervened or saved her. We don't care that it looked like she willingly got in his car. We don't care that she was out at first they said 10, I don't know, 1 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning. We don't care any of that. We just know that someone took her life and he had no right to do that. And now they're going to investigate him because they found evidence in his belongings that maybe other women who are missing have met the same demise. But it also seems like the world likes to blame the victim. And yes, sometimes we do put ourselves in situations that we shouldn't, but like I said, that doesn't give anybody the right. That woman he could have pointed a gun. We couldn't see, it was grainy. I don't know if her car ran out of gas and she was asking for help. And he said he would help her and get in the car, we'll go get gas. We don't know. All we want to do is get a good story, and she shouldn't have been out at that time of the night. And why was she? Can you just have compassion for her family and for this young lady whose life was taken too early, and she had her whole life ahead of her, and she could have been somebody and something. And that's because of the way that we just live worlds. Like, if something happens to you, you probably did something for it to happen to you. And that's crazy. That's crazy. What about older lady? What about the old lady who was 86 years old, staying in a hotel, and she was violated? What did she do to deserve that? What about the little girl who was kidnapped and violated in so many ways and then thrown away? What did that baby do to deserve that? When compassion and love, and when that goes, if it ever just gone, everything's just, we have no hope. But I know that's not going to happen, but I'm just giving you scenarios. If we if the world just went on and compassion and love and good hearts and good people are gone, we have no hope. We would have to live our lives hidden away, just to survive. And that might not, we would have to live in fear. You would have to have every weapon you could think of. You would have to time of going outside to get groceries. You would have to put bars and have different things done to your home, and your constant thing would be protecting. You couldn't, there's no more enjoying your life, because you have to make sure that you're keeping you and everybody safe. And that's what lawlessness is. It doesn't say in the Bible how far it's going to go for about lawlessness. Some of us can't even depend on the people who are to protect us. People of other kinds of people feel that they have the right to do something to you if you're a certain color, and they see you that you're out of place. They feel like you're out of place because forbid that you're walking in a nice neighborhood. You shouldn't be there. You shouldn't be there. They want to know why you're there, and you need to show them why you're there. And it's just like slave days, when they had to, if they were caught on the roads, they had to show a pass to them to justify why they're out walking on this road. And if they couldn't produce reasoning, then they were unalive. That's how it went. They wanted you to be confined, and they didn't want you to be able to go into the good, places and do harm. Because if you're out doing something, if you're out on the streets, you're not doing anything but wrong. You're not So unless you have that pass that says that you have the right to be on the road because you're going to so and so's to help chop some wood for that day, you better have that pass. And so it goes on today. When they followed the young black man, it got to be the whole neighborhood, and he refused to tell them where he was going or where he was living, but they demanded that he had to let them know who he was, where he came from, and where he was going. And if he didn't abide by what they were saying, he was going to have consequences. The man actually pulled out a firearm and was willing to take his life, because we know that you're not supposed to be here. You're getting ready to do something illegal, and we're going to protect our people. We're not going to let you come in and destroy our neighborhoods. We're not going to let you come in and steal what we have. And so when they continue to harass you, and then they find out that you actually live in the neighborhood, there's no I apologize, I'm sorry. It's just that, okay, well, you're okay to go, but this is what we do. In order for for us to leave you alone and let you live your life, you're going to have to prove that this is where you belong. Not that this is where you belong because you're an American. That this is where you belong, that you shouldn't belong is very rare. And if we find out that you do belong, then that was something that was just, maybe you had a good family and they, because there are a few who live a good life and do the right things. There's a few of you, but we have to make sure that we're letting the right few around our families. We have wives here. We have children here. I'm not going to get deep into what I want to say. I might do that on another day, because right now I am upset, and I don't want to talk out of anger. I want to explain situations out of intelligence or out of meekness. I don't want it to be, because I don't hate anyone, and I don't blame every nationality for whatever they've done, their ancestors done. I don't blame everyone. There's bad in every race, there's good in every race. It's just people. It's just people. It's not a group of people against a group of people, and that's not how it goes. It just seems that my people are still at the bottom and have not really came up or have been able to show that they belong, just as they belong wherever everybody else belongs, with no questions asked, with no documentation that, I don't want to have to show you my home, my deed. I don't want to have to show you this is my car. I don't want to have to show you any of that, because you don't have to show me. And we're all living here together, and we're all supposed to be fair If I worked just as hard as you did to live here, why am I the one who has to prove that I belong? How do I know that you didn't embezzle money or steal from your clients to afford this house or to afford the cars that you're driving? Can I see your credentials? So if everyone would just understand, if people are doing wrong, people are doing things, you're not the judge, you're not the jury, you're not the executor. They will be taken care of. They will have to answer in the end, and it's not going to be from you, because you're going to be doing the same thing. You're going to be in line right behind them, answering for yours. And do what they used to do back in the old day. If there was too many, there's too many of y'all, then sell your house and move. Why are you making them? This was their dream house. This is their dream location. They want to live here, but because it upsets you, or it's making you feel bad, or it's upsetting you, sell your house and move somewhere else. Because you don't get to tell anybody where they can live. Those days are over. You don't get to tell anybody what school you can send your kids to. You don't get to tell anybody what restaurant or what, nothing. You have no say of anything. And what amazes me is that it's okay when it's called, when a certain group of people are doing something and they call it politics, or something, we got stolen, this was stolen, and so we can go invade the what is it, the government, whatever office, that we can go in there and just bully ourselves in there and assault people and attempt on their life, because it's in the name of the right thing, keeping our country great. But it sounds like to me it's just the same as breaking and entering, causing bodily harm, or whatever would be the cost, whatever you would get charged with when you enter a place with a weapon and the people are home. That charge. But we're going to downplay that. We've seen it right before our eyes. Everybody's seen it. Everybody's seen them take over and the police helping them get into the building. Everybody's seen. So this isn't something that I'm letting out the bag. We all seen this. We've seen, people being unalive for trying to break. We've seen all this. That they went into different people's offices and read important papers and stole important papers and just did whatever they wanted to. And then they got to leave and go home. Some faces were found and people were arrested and faced criminal charges and went to jail. I haven't heard anything else about it. I don't know if these people were pardoned. I don't know if they're still in jail. But crime is crime. You can't justify the crime that you do because one person says that it's okay. Tony can tell you that the homeowner said it was okay because they accidentally left their back door unlocked. That sounds just as ridiculous as the what you're saying, but it sounds perfect to you because we have been made to look like this is what we do all our life. That's how we've been our whole life. That's our main thing. We were thieves, and we assaulted people, and we had bad blood. We couldn't get right. We were just monsters. And so that's what you wanted to keep labeling us, to justify the cruel and inhumane things that were done. And people just will look the other way because you can't control these kind of people. You can't. And so since you took away the right for us to tie them up and keep track on them, they're just free, and we can't. We're in fear because they're going to be all over the place, and we're not going to be able to control them. So what we're going to do is, if we see one, we're going to make we're going to do everything. We're going to remind them what will happen if they get out of line. Never mind that we do what we do, and we do it worse, and we're the start of this, and we justify and make up things why we get to do these things, but you're the bad people, and so we have to control you. And I guess it just goes down passes along from generation to generation, because there's no one's ever changed. Now, if there's a few that have done good in their society, have been good people, it's because they interacted with us, and we rubbed off on them, and they learned a different way, and so we'll accept them. They're still not better than us, but we'll accept them. We'll just keep an eye on them while they're here. And basically, it's just really the entertainment. There was a story, a black man was a legislator in Washington, D.C., and he went into the building, and the building that he went into every single day that he worked there, and they still harassed him about who he was and let me see your credentials. So it really is, if we know you, if you're an entertainer and we know your face, oh, we know you're one of the good guys because, we know who you are. And then when we find out that you're not a good guy and you're an entertainer, that's fine too. But we just don't want them people running around free willy-nilly, making our country bad, making it. We need to get it great again, and we don't need them to mess it up or cause problems so we can't get it back to being great. I'm pretty sure that, and I know there was good days back in the day, that there was good days, that the country was, pretty good, and everybody, well, I guess it was just that we didn't have a lot of extra things. If you were eating a little, or families were don't have a lot, some families would get together and just put what they got together and eat, come together. Well, we have been torn away from that, because yes, we were turned on each other, and then we were separated. The family was separated, and then we were turned against each other as man and wife, and then we were, so the isolation plan and the turning on one another plan has basically worked, and that's why things over the years have gotten worse, because we don't even recognize that we are all in the same boat, that we are all being persecuted, but we don't see the bigger plan, that if we came together and did the right thing, that we could change things. Do we want things to change? I don't know. Do you like things the way they are? Do you enjoy being stopped by the police because you have tint on your window that is just a little bit darker than what they like? Not that the tint on your window says that it's perfect, because before they put it on, they measured it. It's just a little bit too dark for the police. And then when you tell them, this is the papers that I have, that they get to override that because they can't see. And then when you explain to them, they get upset because they don't want you to explain anything. You are to listen to them. And then then it escalates from there. Aren't you tired of being followed in the mall, and because you're going to steal? I remember I took my nieces to the mall because I wanted to get them dresses for the prom. And so there's dresses all over, when they just, sales, and do you want short dress? Do you want to? And this woman kept following us. I'm not going to jump to conclusions right away, because I'm going to observe. That's what I do. So she would follow us to every rack that we went to. So I was like, ma'am, are you following us? And she was like, no, I'm not. I said, well, why are you following us? There's white girls over there putting shirts in their bags. So because you think black people steal, you're letting them get away with I should just be the decoy, right? I could come in here with all my white friends and let you follow me, and then just let them steal you blind. And then they have the nerve to get offended. I'm not following you, I just would. But one of her co-workers, they're always going to tell. She does this all the time, and we try to tell, they'll tell on you every time. Ma'am, I forget what store it is. This store is the cheapest store in the mall. And so you feel that I have to steal these dresses? Pitiful. I had to become clever in encountering certain people at my job, because when you work with them for a long time, you learn their skill, what they do. And I had supervisor, if you ever had a supervisor who thinks he's smarter than every person in the department, including the director and the president and everyone else, you have to deal with him a little differently. So how I would get him, because I got tired of arguing with him about questions that he always told me, well, no, that's not right, and I would try to explain to him what I was saying and why I think it's right. That was wasting my time. So when I decided that I've already researched it and it's right, the way I would bring it to him is, I looked this up, and to me it looks right, but so-and-so said it's not right. I said, well, I'm going to take it to Dan, and they said, well, Dan, I don't care if you take it to Dan, it's still not right. In his mind, that person has challenged his authority and his intelligence. And so right away, he doesn't even have to see what I'm talking about. He will look at it, and then tell him that the way you have it is correct, without even knowing he's being played. Sir, this is it's sad. It really is sad. I hope that we have a better day today. I hope that people take a long look at things that are going on in the world and try to understand what it is saying, what is happening, what is going to continue to happen. That you are marking that list down, that it's getting closer, that we are becoming, we're in a different area, we're in a different era. So things that were happening before that we held on to, we're going to have to think of a different outcome. We're going to have to think of a different way of doing it, or way of thinking, because I'm sure Charles Kirk, and I'm going to read later about his life and what he stood for, but I'm pretty sure if he was a part of politics and he was a voice of other things, that he should have been protected. And so my first thing is why he was not protected. There was attempt on Trump's life, I believe, 3 times, maybe, and he survived all of those. So, I don't know, I'm going to read, and I'm pretty sure people are going to put out some of the things that they think about, but I'm going to read. I really don't have to. People, it's all really in your face. He didn't give us the names of people that are going to be martyrs, is because what they're trying to say is he's going to be a martyr. I wouldn't know, because I don't know what the situation is. He didn't say who all the Christians who were going to be crucified or whatever. We just know these things are going to happen, so we have to be openly aware. And if you're truly not serving the Lord, because there's Christians, there's people who serve the Lord, there's people who believe in God, and they can all be doing something different. Some people just, go to church. They're good people. They go to church, give tithe and offerings, and go home and really not think of any, God again until the following Sunday. And that's how they were raised. There's some people who do a little bit more. They're kind of people, but they're kind from inside. So the things that they're doing is really just their personality. So they might even go an extra mile by giving out turkey dinners or adopting people for Christmas. Or there's people that go out and preach on the street, hand you God's word on the street. Or there's people that would like to get you signed up for Bible study, and do you want to study with them? There's people that are fanatics who push it on you as hard as they can and turn you away. And then there's people that just wish that, here, I'm going to plant the seed. You let the Lord guide you and tell you what you need to do. We look at it as we're all sinners and we all came from somewhere. We all have a past. We all need healing. We all need to be uplifted and make a change. So it's just how you decide the way that you're going to honor him, or what you believe, or some things you do believe but some things you don't, and that the Old Testament doesn't mean it's left in the old because we have a new. And people argue over the different kind of things. The Bible shouldn't be argued over. God has it laid out and he tells you everything, and if you don't understand some of the things, you just ask him to explain it to you, and he will. It's not like he's, because it's almost like if you don't, that you don't believe. Just ask him and he'll show it to you. Have any of the listeners on my uploads, if I said just go to him, ask him how to pray, ask him how to help you get closer to him or to understand the Bible, or to, have you done that? Has something occurred that made you think, wow, maybe this is true, maybe this thing, has it? I would hope that you have taken some of the things, regardless if it's just whatever you think is more important, and added it to your life and focus on that. That's a start. Remember, it's your salvation. It's not, I can't help you. Your husband can't help your wife. And what I mean by help you, they can't help you. I know your husband and wife, and if you study together, that's a good thing, but your husband is not going to stand up for you when it's time for you to answer. You're not going to be able to stand up for him when it's time for him to answer. So it's really basically your salvation is yours and yours alone. That's why you have to have the personal relationship with God. You can't get in a group of people and then, all talk and make decisions. And we're going to ask him to do this, and we're going to see. That's not how it works. This is going to have to be a personal relationship between you and him. And so I just wanted to say, I hope that you hold on to something. I hope you will be prepared to realize that it's going to get worse. And if you're afraid now, you're not going to be able to withstand the test. So basically what you need to do is be with God and every day, and pray with him and study with him and ask him to give you strength, to give you wisdom, to give you understanding, to give you the strength to stand up to people who want to knock you down or shut you up or try to discredit you, or whatever their mission would be. You just hold on to the one who was always there for you when everyone else turned their back on you, and you reached out, and the only hand that grabbed your hand was Jesus's hand. You reached out for every hand. Where's my uncle? Where's my mom? Where's my best friend? Where's my sister? And the only hand that came out to you was Jesus. So I just want you to think of those things. I want you to study what you feel you don't understand, or what you feel that you're not quite sure this is right, or that you pray and ask God to show you if it's real. If you ask God to give you show you a blessing, I don't think he would think it's, because God doesn't have to prove anything to us. He doesn't have to prove who he is to us. But he also knows that because of this world and this evilness, that people are afraid and just need a little push to understand that you're not alone. So I don't think God would have a problem answering your prayer, giving you comfort. If you're asking God to show you in the Bible where it says this or where it says that and explain it to me, he wouldn't have a problem doing that. Or, you feel like no one's there, and how am I going to pay this light bill? And God finds a way, and you just automatically get a check in the mail because you had forgot that you had a tax return that you had filled out incorrectly, and they were trying to give you your extra money. Those things happen. And so I pray that people get to experience themselves the truth and the light and God's love, and that he wouldn't leave if he's asking you to do the right thing, to spread just to plant his word in someone's ear, that he's not going to let you fall. So that's all I have for today. I hope everyone has a good week. And till next time.